So the first question is, what do you think are the three most important qualities in a teacher? And for me, they would have to be love of one subject, empathy, and adaptability. So, at least when I was at school, the teachers that inspired me the most were always those who clearly loved their subject and they were able to bring to lessons, even if they've been teaching for 10, 20, or 30 years, a kind of energy and passion and share that with their students and really get them invigorated about learning. I think empathy is important for subjects which are a bit more technical, subjects like Latin or maths, for kind of getting students to understand concepts which are a bit more abstract at the start and a bit more difficult to grasp. Just having the patience to sit down with students and really explain to them in depth to kind of get them to latch onto those concepts and understand them in a deeper way. Adaptability is really important because of the relational aspect of tutoring. When you're working with students of different ages, different personality types, and different learning styles, and especially with students who are initially maybe not that enthusiastic, they've been told by their parents to have tutoring, and you need to kind of have a facility to adapt in order to engage students who might be different from one another and to develop personal relationships with them. So that ability to kind of adapt on your feet is really important. The second question is, what are your best experiences in teaching, and can you tell us something about your subject which you and your students have found most exciting and fascinating? So the best experiences I've had in teaching have always been with students who are either initially a bit unenthusiastic or who've had previously poor tuition or teaching in the subject. So I'll give you two examples. So one was a student I had for GCSE Latin 3 years ago. He was in Bottom Set and he was working at a D grade. We worked together twice a week for the entire year. He was really unenthusiastic about Latin at the beginning. He just thought he couldn't grasp it. He had a really fixed mindset about not being able to get it. But by the end of the year, he was up to an A grade and he really enjoyed it so much he even thought about taking A-level Latin. So seeing that progress was just really, really enthusing. The second student was in 11 plus maths, a student I worked with last year. Again, he had a great facility with English, but he just really struggled with maths and just thought that he kind of couldn't grasp the concepts, slightly more abstract concepts in algebra and geometry. But we worked together for an entire year and he got into his top school of choice, and seeing him progress was just really wonderful. So in terms of what my students find most exciting about the subject, I think it's when I'm able to share with them kind of broader things outside of the confines of the syllabus or the slightly less technical aspects of what we're learning. So a good example in Latin is when I'm able to share with my students some of the etymologies of certain words in English, or if they're learning French, so that they can kind of get an appreciation for just how important Latin and the Roman culture is, even today. And they can see it not as a dead language, but something that's really deep-rooted in Western civilization. So the third question is, why did you get into teaching and what else do you do for work? So I got into teaching because I was asked by a family friend 7 years ago when I finished school if I could teach their children A-level and GCSE Latin. And I just had such a positive first experience that from then on, throughout my university years, both undergraduate and postgraduate, I've been working as a private tutor with all sorts of students. I've just really enjoyed it ever since. So what else do I do for work? So I also work as a tutor in my college. So I'm finishing off my philosophy master's degree. And I teach undergraduate students and help with the finals papers. I teach ancient and modern philosophy to undergraduates who choose the papers that I specialise in.